Bringing it into this football section, up at the back, Royal Welsh. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Women's Stage, Dan Harry!
How are we doing? Are we well?
Woo!
I'm very much regretting my hat choices this evening. I'm going to introduce there as
tasteful.
I'm going to introduce there as Dan Harding. That's my name. A lot of my friends call me Dan, Daniel, or as my best mate has recently started calling me, Hipster Henry VIII. Fuck you guys. Let me also explain this accent. I am obviously Spanish. I'm not. I'm Irish, but I grew up in Spain, and that's why apparently now I sound like I drive like a tractor. I was 11 years old when I moved to Spain. I say I moved. I was taken. By what I consider a very irresponsible mother. People say to me, Dan, but she exposed you to a great language, new culture, amazing food. Yes. But she also exposed the ginger to the sun. I see she's also irresponsible as well, right? Because when I was 8 years old, I found a pair of handcuffs in her wardrobe. Oh, we're all fucking fine with that here in Bath, are you? None of you had a reaction to that. You kinky fuckers. You don't know what that shit's done to me. 28 years I've repressed that memory of my mother. Being a policewoman. She was a great mum, but she did do some irresponsible things. Like when I was 5 years old, my mother decided that a great family holiday destination would be Amsterdam. Again, we're all fucking fine with that. Interesting parenting choices. So imagine 5-year-old Dan walking around Amsterdam until I point out one of the windows. And I say to my mother, Mummy, what are those ladies doing in the window? And she replies something we can all agree is quite disturbing, but also a little bit sweet. She said, well, honey, they sell kisses. Because it turns out my mother's also a liar, because that's the one thing they do not do. Allegedly. It was quite daunting, but I got moved to Spain at 11 years old. But I knew I was going to be okay. When I found out, well, the Spanish, well, they put potatoes in everything. My favourite thing, patatas bravas? Or some yeah for patatas. Do you know what the literal translation for patatas bravas is? It's fierce potato. Which is also the nickname the kids gave me at school. Which is pretty mean. People, when they find out I speak Spanish, they always want to know the same thing. They always want to know swear words. So if someone says to you in Spanish, vete a la mierda, that means fuck off. Someone says to you in Spanish, que te den por culo, that means fuck you. Someone says to you, hijo de la gran puta, que te vaya la puta mierda, socabrón, me cago en la muerte que vaya tu padre, cabrón, hijo de puta, que vaya a tirar por pino, socabrón. That means fuck off! I am aware my sex appeal goes up a couple of points when I speak Spanish. I'm now at 2. I actually grew up, I lived on an avocado farm in Spain. This is Bath, you know what avocados are here, it's fine. It's good, because I was in Portsmouth a couple of weeks ago. To explain some shit. Like what vegetables were. One thing a lot of people don't know about avocados is that they are not technically vegan. Most farmed avocados use worker bees imported, and so they're not technically vegan. So also, on another, according to the internet, a lot of people think they taste like freshly washed penis. Someone's tried it. Now, I'll be honest, I'm yet to do any research on this. I, of course, have Never tried avocado. But now I know there's a vegan alternative, I'll go for that. My sister still lives in Spain. She's doing really well out there. She's got her own business. She's got her own house. She's has a little family. She's also produced a little Spaniard, my nephew, and they came to visit at Christmas. And he's 5 years old. He's at a beautiful age where he speaks fluent Spanish, struggles with a bit of English still, and there's a lot of customs he doesn't get. For example, like Christmas crackers aren't a thing in Spain. Well, let me tell you, they blew his little fucking mind. We've done about 15 of them. And dinner's nowhere near being ready yet. He keeps on wanting to do more crackers. Until the point I have to say, listen, man, we're going to have to wait a minute. I'm going to go finish the dinner. When I come back, we can do more crackers. He goes, okay. But he's 5 years old. He has no concept of time. So 5 minutes later, he comes running into the kitchen saying, Uncle Dan, when can we do more crack? I don't know if he spent Christmas with a 5-year-old. It's very much like being with someone on crack. I live here. I live in the UK now. I live with my brother. My brother's 17 years younger than me. I mentioned earlier how irresponsible my mother was. My brother has quite severe to moderate autism. And his biggest struggle is communication. He communicates not completely non-verbal. He's what's called non-verbal level 2, or a gestural communicator, it's called, which means he communicates in a very specific way. For example, he likes to communicate in like call and response things. Things like when you're at Panto or you're at a birthday party when people goes hip hip and someone goes hooray. He also loves I can't say goodbye to him. Like you all know this one. I have to say to him, see you later, alligator. Autistic people in. It's good to know where they are. And he also communicates, he mimics a lot, and he copies things, especially like movies and shows he saw when he was younger. The other day, I snapped at him. I'm quite ashamed about it. He finished his dinner, he had something sweet, and he wanted more chocolate. And he went back for some more chocolate. I forgave it to him the first time. Second time he went, I said, no, go away. And he kept on going back. And like the third or fourth time, I just went, no! My brother turned to me and said, that controller said no! Fucking chocolate, you little shit. Because you lose that argument after that. There's no coming back from that. It's also can be difficult to meet somebody because he's in my life. I'm his guardian, I'm his carer, I'm everything to him in that way. And I'm not telling you this for sympathy, but I would like your pity. You know? And it can be quite hard to meet somebody because you bring someone into that world that they haven't signed up for, they don't know about it. But you know, I explain to people that I meet and that potentially going to be with and stuff. So I was seeing this girl not too long ago, and it was going really well. We decided, like, oh, listen, we're going to stay over at my place for the night. She agreed. I said to her, just so you know, my brother is not going to be happy about this situation. You know, because my brother doesn't want me getting laid, because he doesn't like change. So I said, not to you, you're just going to interrupt his routine, you're going to interrupt his day-to-day life, and that's going to be a problem for him. And she was on board with it, she can handle it. I said, okay, so she stayed over the night, we had a great night. So in the morning, we go to have breakfast, we're sitting at the breakfast table, my brother walks in, sees the situation and goes, no, and walks away. And I said, and she's devastated, obviously. And I have to say to her, listen, it's nothing to do with you, it's just the situation. So I say to her, listen, all you have to do is, when you're leaving, you go up to him and say, see you later, alligator. He'll say, in a wild crocodile, and you'll be best of friends. So she's going to go, she goes up to him and says, see you later, alligator. And my brother turns to her and says, run away, Simba, and never return. Devastating. He's also the best wingman ever. It was great. Him having autism at age, like, there's a lot of things that are weird. He doesn't have to worry about the big things in the world. You know, he's got no worries of wars, of famine, or money. He doesn't have to worry about things, and it's amazing. That's great. I'm envious of him in that. but it does cause some sort of issues every now and again. One of his big obsessions, one of his special interests is flags, right? And it was his birthday not too long ago. And I said, what do you want for your birthday? And he said, t-shirt. I said, okay, what t-shirt do you want? He said, t-shirt flag. And I said, okay, what flag do you want? He said, Russia. I have to say, not this year, buddy. Can't do that one. I said, pick another flag. He goes, North Korea. And we might have a problem here. Because my brother watches a lot of YouTube. He loves watching Thomas the Tank Engine. I mentioned it earlier with the Fat Control thing. And a lot of autistic people love Thomas the Tank Engine. One of the reasons is because on Thomas, I don't know if you remember this, their faces don't move. Their faces are always the same, so their gestures are always the same. So they don't have to read them, and it's really easy because their faces don't move. It's one of the reasons why he loves the Kardashians as well. He loves watching Thomas the Tank Engine on YouTube, and when he gets bored, because he's watched every episode there's ever been, but so sometimes he gets bored of it, and when he gets bored of it, he starts watching Thomas the Tank Engine in different languages. By far the weirdest are German and Japanese. And because they're quite inefficient people, they must think it's a fucking horror show, in fact. You know, I'm not going to do the accents for you now. The problem is my brother does them all the fucking time. We can't go to Yo Sushi anymore. And but you know, I mentioned there earlier, my brother and I, we went to Spain when my nephew was born, and at the time my brother was 16 years old, and I almost got arrested for human trafficking him. So we went to visit my sister in Spain, and on the way back, my brother has a slightly different passport and a slightly different surname to me. So as I was going through passport control, the officer there said, "Where are you going with this 16-year-old boy?" And I did something you should never do at customs, and I went, "Oh no!" So we get taken down to the police station, and it's getting quite serious at this point. I'm like, "Listen, it's my brother. He has autism. He can't say anything to you." And so at one point he says, "Oh no, we're going to have to separate you guys now." And I'm like, "Please, to my brother, please tell this man I'm your brother. Please say something for the first time in your life." And as I'm getting dragged away, it happens. My brother says, "See you later, alligator." We're okay. About 6 months ago, guys, I decided I needed to get my shit together, and I went back to the gym. Fucking irony down there. I know I went back to the gym. So far, I've lost any motivation. And I gave up the gym. I had to give up the gym for medical reasons. Because I don't know if you've seen the news, but we could get drafted into the army anytime. And I'm not taking any fucking chances. As it turns out, I'm not fat, I'm just a pacifist. And no, but I do struggle with my weight. Because I have something called an underactive thyroid. For those of you who don't know what an underactive thyroid is, it's a gland in my neck that produces a hormone that makes it very, very difficult to walk past Greg's. No, but recently I've actually lost quite a bit of weight. I've lost about 45 kilos or 7 stone. No, I don't deserve any of that. I've been on those weight loss chaps, you know. And they're great. They're great for some, you know, one of the things they've been amazing. One of the things they do is they stop something called food noise. But you know what food noise is here? If you don't know what it is when you think about food constantly. You're always thinking about food. So you finish one meal and then you think about the next meal. It's always on your mind, and that's gone. And that is amazing. But it has freed up so much more space in my mind for my other poor choices in life. I'm now quite concerned about my drinking. But there's no jab for that. Well, unless you include heroin. But you don't want to be too skinny. No, but the thing is, I wanted to lose weight because I needed to get my shit into gear. Because I got out of a relationship last year, and I went on Tinder for the first time, Thank you, that's the exact reaction I had when I went on Tinder. Which is really annoying because I was really good at the other games on my phone. Do you guys remember the old snake game?
Yeah.
Grinder. No, but it is hard. Online dating's hard, especially when you look like you killed Anne Boleyn. I was talking to somebody not too long ago, actually. I was talking to somebody online not too long ago, and this is how hard it is for some people. And because people are much more open about what they're into nowadays. You know, I was talking to somebody, and all of a sudden she messaged me at 2 o'clock in the morning saying, "I want to see videos of you eating." I felt the same way. And I was like, it's not my thing, you know. I'm respectful for what people are like and what they're into. I don't judge. But she was quite insistent. She got quite aggressive with it. She's like, no, I want to see you eating. I want to see you eating steaks. I want to see you eating a burger. I want to see you eating a cake. And guys, it made me feel extremely hungry. So we are married now. Well, if I'm going to be honest with you guys, I wasn't going to say this, but we are currently going through a divorce. Oh. I know. Well, it does go, but divorce, beheaded, died. Divorce, beheaded. I've been downhiding, guys. Thank you very much.